And this is the agenda. We will do a very short intro to Web 2024, and then we will do the walkthrough in the web as well, and then questions and answers towards the end if we have time. And as I said, write the questions there. I will make sure I will answer them in the chat, so you will get the answers to the questions as well afterwards if we don't have time to go through them all. So Web 2024 has been released in batches to customers since May, and the rollout is planned to be completed by the end of October. Only customers that are using the ERP system BCO can use Web 2024 as of now. And the number 2024, it stands for the version in use. And the previous version that was released, for example, was called 2023, and so on. You will notice that apart from a new look, there are improvements in the Web 2024. For example, you can now copy lines. You can navigate between columns using the arrow keys and so on. And another feature is that you can choose different modes for viewing documents and lines. So if you have an invoice with, for example, 50 lines, you can choose a better view now. Previously, you could also only watch 15 lines at a time. Now you can see them all, for example. Some things in the demo today might not be available to you due to your permissions that you have on your user account. So some of you might not have the permission to, for example, change an account or dimension. So please keep that in mind. And yeah, let's start to go into the web interface and look at the various settings. Okay, here's the Web 2024. We're going to go through quite a few buttons and settings today. You definitely don't need to use everything that I will show you, but I will go over it so you know where it is just in case if you want to. So let's start on the left side over here of the screen. This is the menu. You can expand it if you want. Then you click on the menu like this, or you have it like this. There's a few different icons here, so I thought we would go through what they mean. So up here, first, you have the inbox. So here you can see all the documents you need to approve right now. And then we have due. And here you can see the ones you need to approve, which are overdue. Then we have future. And here you can see the documents where you are an approver later in the process and a colleague needs to approve them right now, not you. So you can see who. So let's go here. Future. I have one document here. I click on that. And then I can see here online that it's actually Cecilia that needs to approve it before it's my turn. You also have recent here. So you can see the documents here that you've handled in the last 30 days. And you have on hold. And here you can see if someone, if you have set some of the documents on hold. And then you have replacer down here. Here you can see the replacers that you have added. You can see if someone else added you as a replacer. So for example, here I can see that I added admin to be my replacer during these dates. If I don't want that, I can take it away by push this button. If I want to add a new replacer, I choose this. So I click here and fill out the information. I can also see that I'm replacing Filippa right now between these dates. You also have the chat. So if someone has tagged you in a message, then you can see it here. If I would have an unread message right now, I would see it here, but then I can see my old messages if I click on read. And it works that way that if you get a message, you click on the message and then you can see the document and the information as well. Those were the buttons over there. The search function, for example, some of you guys might want to use that. We have it up here now. So if you want to do a search, you click in the field, then you get the search criteria. You can add more search criteria here. If you click on this, you can also take away search criteria by clicking on this. You can also bookmark a search criteria to always have it shown if you click on this little icon. When it's blue, then it's a bookmark. If it's white, then it's not bookmark. So let's say that I want to do a search here. I want to search in this company, and I want to see all my invoices that belong to Dustin. So I fill it out, and then I push this. And then I have my search. If I want to save this search, I click here, and then I can see the search here, and I just bookmark it by clicking here. So you can see that I have 2 saved search from earlier up here, and it's bookmarked. So if I don't want to save these, maybe I want to take it away sometime after I used it for a while, then I just click on the bookmark again, and then it will go away. To the right, let's take away this invoice. You have some news, you have our online manual and so forth. So here you have some highlights. You have the manual here, and you click forward to go here to the manual. You can also see news, for example, fixes and improvements and so on here. If we go to the inbox, now we can see we're in the search. So let's click on inbox. If you hover over here, you get these 3. The first one here is a filter inbox. You can search here for different values, amounts, vendor names, and so forth. Depends on what columns you have down here. So let's say I only want to see my vendor Telia, for example. Then I can search for that, for example. I can download my inbox here as a CSV file. So you can open it in Excel. You can also download a file if you do a search, so you have it on the same place. Maybe you logged on and you've been in the inbox for a while. Then you can click this refresh button to see if you have gotten any more invoices or documents to approve, for example. When I hover over here, you can see that there's 3 buttons over each column. If you click on these 3 buttons, you get the option to, if you want to hide this column. You also have the option here to show more columns. But here's another thing to remember is that if you are an admin, you can add what columns that you can show or not show here. So maybe you don't want all the columns to be available for all of the users, then you can take away some columns, or you can add some columns, for example. You can also change the width of a column. So if you have one with a lot of text, for example, you can change it. So it looks more like this, for example. Let's say that I want to sort things. I want the descending date order, for example, here in this column. Then I click on the text. So then you can see that it's changing. You can do the same, for example, in the amount if you would want to change. So then you click on the text. Let's move on to see the settings if you open a document. So let's take this one. As you can see here, I have a document with many lines. Now you can see that I can see them all at the same time. It's not like before where you could only see 15 at once, and then you had to move on to the next 15 and so forth. But let's start up here. So we have something called amount and trend. So here you can see if the current amount on the document you have are higher or lower than previous documents from this supplier or this vendor, for example. So you can see here that I have received an invoice in February and in March, and you can see the amounts. You can also see the list here of documents that you have on this vendor. I will go back to this amount and trend later because there's also one more thing that you can do with this. Another thing for you admins is that you can Also decide some of the columns up here. You can add some fields if you want to as well. And then you users can choose if you want to see them or not. You also have due dates. If this there's a red dot in this little box, it means that it's overdue. You also have the chat here. So if you click there, you get this, and you can see all the messages that has been sent on this document. You can type and tag someone if you want to send, for example, to admin. I want to send admin a message. Then you can type something and send here. You also have attached documents. So here you can see an attached files. And then here you can add some optional fields as well. And you admin can choose which ones, if so. Then up here we have approve. So if you only want to approve a document, you don't want to do anything with it, then you click approve. If you, however, want to maybe reject or hold, you can click on these three dots and you get the options here. Let's say also that if you make changes to a document and you want to continue working on it later, you can click on save. And please note that if you create a new line and then you click on save here, you're not able to take away that line after you click on save. So that's important to remember. As a user, you cannot take away that line then. And then also you have the options to forward the full document here. And if you reject, hold, or forward the document, you need to add an approval comment. And this needs to be at least 2 words or 2 characters with a space between. You also have validate. So if you have permissions to make changes to the lines and want to double check that you filled in, that what you filled in complies with any coding rules, for example, that is set up in ExFlow in the ERP system, then you can click here and you will receive a message saying that it's okay or not. You have cancel. So let's say that you're working on a document and everything is totally wrong. You want to start over from the beginning. Then you click on cancel and then you start over. If you work on a document and then you click on save, then it will not work to click on cancel because then you already saved things. So remember, don't click on save if you don't want to be permanent. Then we have different views. Right now, I have the view side by side. So I have the inbox here and I have the document here. Something that's improved now is that if you hover over the lines, you can drag them if you want to. So that's one thing you can do. You can also choose to see in full screen, for example. Now I have the invoice to the right and all my lines to the left. You can also choose to expand or collapse lines in this case. Then you have them on the bottom of the screen. And then you can also move the lines if you want to. And then let's move to side by side because I want to have it like this. And then over here, you can click on this button if you want to open the invoice in a new window, for example. And you can zoom in or zoom out on these buttons. Another thing that you can do with lines, for example, you can use filters. If you click on this little icon, you get some already made up filters. For example, let's say I want to see only my lines. So here you can see that I have some lines that I'm not going to approve. But there I have some more lines that I'm going to approve, and I want to see all of the lines that I'm going to approve. Then you either write this or you click on this, and then you get all of the lines that you're going to approve. Let's say that I only want to see, for example, line number 2. Then I do this. Or maybe I want to see line number 2 until 21. Then I can do that. So there's several filters that you can use here. There's also 3 buttons out here. For example, show descriptions. You can see here on account that I have a description under here, the name of the account. If you click here, that goes away. We also have show empty fields. Right now, you can only see the fields that I have values in. So if I want to see fields that I don't have value in, I click here and they appear. We also have compact and loose. So depending on how you want to see the columns, you can choose if you want it to be more compact or loose or default. You also have a little button in between here, and this is show drop-down menu on click in text box. So this setting is a one that allows you to either see a drop-down menu when you start typing, for example, on account, or not. So if you want to work in a way where you only type the account and then move on to the next field, you don't want to see the different accounts, you don't want them to pop up when you start writing numbers, for example, then you have this setting that you don't want to see it, or if you want to see it. On the line here, you can click. So on the line, for each line, you can approve, reject, hold, and forward, depending on your permissions. And you can also add another approver. Up here, you have this icon. If you want to see the full name of the persons in the approval flow, you click on it and you can see the full name. If you want to quick approve a row or a line, you can do that here, or you can put it on hold or reject also. So let's say that you want to split a line or create a new one. Then you should always add the amount that is staying on the line. So let's say I want to add or stay 100 here. Then you see the remaining amount drops down to the line below. You can also write, for example, 10 plus 10 and enter, and then it calculates for you. So you can use calculation in the rows or the lines as well. If you have created a new line and you want to change line type, you do it on this little icon on the new line here. On the bottom here, you can see how many lines the document has in total. You can see the total amount. And here you can see that it's a number in red. And this is an amount if it's different from the total amount, that if something is different. So now you can see that I have a value here on this line. When you are splitting a line, you're not done with the split until you push this one. So when you're done, you push this one, and then this number will go away, for example. Let's undo the changes. And if I want to copy a value, I go to the value I want to copy. And here you can either push Control-C or push Copy. And then you move on to the other column that you want to paste it to, and then you either do Control-V, or in this case, if we have a number and I want to copy it, for example, then I copy, and then you can see that new buttons appear here. So either you can Control-V or paste, click on this one. So let's create a new line. Let's scroll down. And I want it to be 10 on this line, and I'm creating a new line. And I'm done now with this, so I push this one. Then you can see that I created a new line. I just need to add an account, but this is wrong, so I want to change my mind. Then you click on here, and remove. And you can only remove a line that you have created before you push save. So remember that you can only remove it before you push save, for example. And now I want to see all of my lines. So I write this here in the filter section, and then I get all of my lines. And I want to see some more of them, so I can drag the window a little. So let's say that I want to copy a value into another line below. Either then you can use the keyboard for shortcuts, or you can use the buttons that show up down here. So let's say I want to change this one. I want this to be another account. So I've changed this now, but I want this to be on other lines as well. So then I can either do Control C or copy. Now you can see that here it says 1. It means that I have one value that I've copied. So now I want to add this to other lines, this value. Either you can just move to the next window if you want to move it to that window, or you can, for example, if it's several, you can push Control on your keyboard and push in the boxes you want to add the value to. And then you can either push Control V or paste, for example. And then if I don't want to use this value, I don't want to copy and paste it anymore, then I push clear. So then I'm not using that one anymore. You can also, if I want to copy a full line, you can do this, copy, and then I want to move this here and paste, for example. You can also use lines from previous documents and paste them by using the amount and trend. So let's move to this document and open amount and trend. And here you can see that I received some documents before. I want to see the list, so I click on list. And I want to open this document. You can make this window bigger if you want to. And then you can see the document. And you can see what lines, for example. And I know, okay, I want to copy all of these lines, all of these amounts. I want to move them to the other document I'm working on right now. So I will select all by pushing here, scroll down, and copy. Now I copied 3 lines here. So I move on to my document. I mark here. And you can see now it's this account. You also have departments here, but I didn't have that on the other document. So look now what happens if I push. Then it disappears, and then I moved over the information from the other document. Something else that you can do now is that you can move with your arrows, so you can jump between the boxes totally freely. If you want, for example, also, if I write an account now, you can see that it only appears, it changes. But if you want the drop-down menu, you push this one. Let's say now you can see that I have the account. So let's say I want to change now. Then you actually have to push here, or you have to move down and push enter for it to change. So some of you might not want to have that option to see the drop-down menu. Then you push here again. Yeah, I think that was it with the documents. For those of you who have admin permissions, you have a page where you can make a lot of settings. If you click on your icon and then admin settings, you can see this here. We have more information about this page in our online manual on our documentation platform. I will send you the link. And there you can, for example, decide which columns should be visible for your users in the inbox or the search function. You can clear cache there. You can set welcome messages for your users and more here. If you're not admin, you can make some changes if you click here on your little icon and then settings. So there you can choose what language, and then you have some other settings that you can use as well. You can, for example, if you want to have like a darker page, you can choose that, or you can choose auto, for example.